In this episode, we speak with a being from the planet Cosplaytorium, where they reboot their culture every moon.
And that's why our guest is only temporarily George Washington.
So roll up your towel into a pillow, lean back, and
Prepare to learn why there's a lot going on in a singularity and none of it's good, as well as why rage is frozen hurt set afire.
Shut up and sit down.
Horatio, you're up. Good.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep in a bit of an awkward position here in booth 42 while waiting for you to round up another guest.
And a new guest I have.
Oh,
I caught him by the coat check. He had a fascinating coat that he was checking, and I thought, this is a being we need to have on our show. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, hey, everybody. My name is George Washington.
George Washington, a very unusual name. What is the name of your planet, by the way?
Cosplaytorium.
Cosplaytorium.
Ooh, very good. Yes.
We are a planet without a dominant culture, so we decided to take everyone else's culture. We change our entire planet's culture every one of our 13 and a half moons.
13 and a half moons. Ooh.
That's it's not very many moons to get everything ready. How do you
Oh, I mean, we have 13 and a half moons surrounding our planet.
It's not a measure of time.
No,
Are they equally spaced around the planet?
not at all.
Oh,
My goodness, this is beginning to sound rather disorganized, and because of my home planet of Schenectacus, which is basically is another word for bad planning, I feel this is something I could relate to.
Well, great. You're welcome to come visit us anytime you would like to. Bring your own chariot.
ooh.
Ooh, is a chariot required for traveling around your civilization?
During this period of this moon, yes. Remember, we change our culture every time we change a moon. That's why we're Cosplaytorium.
So now, if I had maybe say a nicer chariot, would I be looked on with favor as I were riding around Cosplaytorium?
The better of everything is always better.
The better of everything is always better.
I think I'm gonna have to sink some money into my chariot if I go there then, Horatio.
Well, buy it quickly because the next month is coming soon and we're all changing everything again. You know, we were sad for the longest time because we didn't have a culture.
Ooh,
None of us
that's-
knew what to do.
Ooh.
We thought better to then make our own culture by stealing cultures from other planets.
Perfect. It's perfectly logical.
Imitation is a sincerest form of flattery, except when you steal it without people's permission.
Yes, now theft is the ultimate compliment.
You know, there are some people who get really upset because they call it planet appropriation.
Ooh.
But
No.
not on our planet.
You're celebrating it.
We're celebrating. That's why we try all the different types of ways of living, and I would expect that at some point in the future, we'll probably take on the culture for a period of time at Schenectady.
That would be interesting because it's so inconsistent. I would love to see how we could find that overlap of the most prominent aspects of my culture. Fascinating. Lots of beings walking around not knowing where they are, what direction they're going in. It would be lovely.
George,
Trellis, you speak.
George, I was curious.
You talk. Oh my God. We need a referee.
We had that as our culture for a period of time. There was about 2 moons ago where we all dressed up as referees from different universes, and it was amazing. So many ticky-tack fouls were called.
So basically you're handing out yellow cards and red cards and things to each other and giving each other timeouts?
Oh, look at you being all binary. It wasn't just yellow and red cards. In other universes, there are some cards that you throw out the foul flag and it looks like peanut butter, but it's not.
Were there any vaporizations due to lack of rule following?
Any? How we changed our throne.
Did you? Very practical. So you vaporized the current leader?
Well, only during that period when we were the referee planet.
Ah.
Different cultures have different ways of taking over their different things.
I was just wondering if this is something where you had multiple leaders who were vaporized during that period, that month, or how long, or if you just had one leader who was vaporized. Or
We had one leader who was vaporized, and then the next moon came into play, and so we changed our culture again.
Fascinating.
What rule did he violate?
Yes.
Who remembers anymore?
Nobody even cares.
That was so many cultures ago.
Yes.
You know, we even change our names based on different things. Like, my real name is not George Washington, and
No.
this coat that I'm wearing is not that. Last culture, we were all in a cosplay of Hamilton, the musical, and we all dressed up like different characters from that, and I chose the name George Washington, but that's not my real name.
Yes.
I came here because we're starting to run out of ideas of what cultures we can be, and I thought if I was here at the restaurant at the end of the universe, there's so many things I could see and learn from and bring back to my planet.
Much like what we are doing.
Yes, many cultures here to appropriate. You just look around and you see a melange of cultures.
Gesundheit.
Bless you as well. That's how we respond on my planet when someone wishes you that. You do it in reverse.
Well, there you go. Changing cultures every moon is really invigorating, but also exhausting.
I'm sure.
I was just going to say, it sounds like it's hard to keep up that amount of energy because clearly it doesn't sound like there's any planning in the moon before for the next one. It's just like you go.
It's very arbitrary. Like, my wife and I have changed names so many times, I sometimes forget what to call her because we change our names every moon.
Every mood. That. Now, do you maintain the same residence? So that you would go, oh, you look familiar. The name, I can't place the name.
It depends on the culture that we're cosplaying.
Ooh, yes.
Because some of them, you have to change. You can't stay where you were.
That's true. That makes sense.
The robots, they also like to change and cosplay as well. Everybody on our planet does. Change all your appearances, change the way you live, change the food you eat, everything, so that each time you can really embrace that culture from that planet. The only time it didn't work is when we tried it being a black hole.
Nothing.
When for that month we were in the culture. Yeah, exactly. That just didn't work and we lost a lot of our citizens.
Well, was there a point in there when it was a hellish landscape with a red robot?
No, we didn't have that. In that black hole, in that period, everything was dark and there was no light and nothing much moved or happened. And again, like I said, we lost about half our citizens who were sucked into the void.
Crushed in the singularity.
Yeah, right, exactly. And, you know, there's a lot happening in a singularity, but none of it good.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to write that on my napkin.
A lot of being torn apart, I would imagine.
Yeah. That's how I lost my first wife.
Oh,
I'm
so
sorry.
I'm sorry, but
It's okay. I'm married again.
Thank you.
40 moons ago, we were a planet of therapists.
Oh.
The therapists and counseling, and unfortunately, we ended up having wars develop between different therapists.
Oh no.
And then we had the Akukskachis. Their belief is belief, and that's what made the idea of therapy and counseling really confusing.
And I would imagine, since you change so often, most of the help that they could offer was in a limited time period. So it was probably a lot of quick fixes.
Exactly.
A lot of easy. Just do this, and your problems are going to go away. And we know it's not that easy.
Absolutely. At one point, and I think this was about 115 moons ago, from what my grand blobbler said, was that at one point, our leader was so inspiring and so beautiful with the gorgeous long hair and multiple arms and so many legs and the ability to stand tall. It was one of our best leaders, and we made a statue, and that statue lasted for at least 15 moons until we took the cosplay of being terrorists and took it down.
Fascinating.
I like the fact that when you and your planet switch, you fully commit. There is no going back. I mean, he may have been a great leader, but guess what? We're terrorists now, and we are going to commit to our characters.
The commitment of your planet is truly inspiring.
Well, thank you. Anybody can just do a regular imitation. What we're so proud of is that we are able to fully commit to our cosplay. That's why we're Cosplaytorium.
Now, here's a question that just maybe popped into my head.
Oh,
Yes.
What happens, let's say, when one of the selections for cosplaying in that moon turns out to not go as expected, and now you're stuck for the rest of the moon in that cosplay?
Trellis, I gotta tell you, they never turn out how you expected.
I bet.
Not once.
not once.
Ever. That's part of the fun of it.
Is it?
Everything is always new, and it never goes the way you think it's gonna go.
And I suppose it's also a little bit of you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, and therefore everything rings true once you're into it.
Just living on a prayer for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is so poetic, Horatio. Very poetic.
You currently are in the Hamilton culture, which is
That is far-reaching.
Yes, because we're very proud of that we're in the planet where it happened.
yes, the planet. Very
Yes,
good.
yes.
We're also
Very
very
good.
proud that we are going to take our moonshot.
Very good. Very good.
Very good.
I am helpless.
yes.
I am helpless against that. Helpless against that.
They were just actually Millyways made a little bit of a dinner theater atmosphere the other night, and they did the whole musical. I mean, it's really, it has no limits to how far that musical has reached
No.
throughout
that
the
is the reason why I'm here.
Yes, I have to throw in that Trellis did guest as the king in that production. It was when they pulled someone out of the audience, give them the script, and have them jump in.
I just beheaded a few people. I didn't. I took some
He
liberties.
did not sing a bit.
No, I didn't sing. It was more spoken word. And then once I got heckled, I got a little angry. I'm not gonna lie. And well,
They did not appreciate when you just walked on them.
I know how to deal with a bad review. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, you've had plenty of them.
Well, there you go. And I think it's great that we are all beholden to your beheading.
Yes, beholden to the beheading.
We have never had a culture of waiters. How amazing would that be for a future moon?
You
That
do
would
not serve.
probably-
Do you always serve yourself on your world? Is this something that's always happened?
It depends on the moon that we're in.
Once again, depends on what the mood would. Yes.
Right, but
What-
we've never had a moon where we are our entire culture for that moon is nothing but being waiter.
That might be something to consider.
Yes, I would think that would be amazing. There's the clothes that you can wear with it, the names you can come up with it, the ways of paying people, doing doubles and triples, and having parties after you're done with your shift, and just
Counting tips.
so many things to have to consider. I think it would be a lovely way to spend a moon.
I think. Do you keep a list of potential cultures for yourself to simulate?
Yes. We have two things. We have a way for all our citizens on the planet to send in their suggestions. We call that citizen media.
Oh.
And we are able to, through our thoughts, it goes to the greater sphere, and then it gets collected, and then the top 10 get presented. But we also have 12 citizens who gather together to be curators of ideas and suggest them. And so they will both take the ideas from the citizens plus their own and decide something together. Every month we keep changing, so it's fun.
Yeah.
Now, this greater sphere that you talked about putting the ideas in and sending the ideas to, if I understand it, would that be a big ball that you would perhaps roll around and then open it up and pull a suggestion out of it?
I can't believe that you think we're that primitive.
I
am really disappointed, almost offended. We are not that primitive.
I apologize greatly. I misjudged you. But I thought perhaps one of your moons you would be doing something incredibly lame. Going back to a primitive society for one of your cultural provisions.
When we have gone to other planets and taken their basic culture as barbarian or early as it might seem, it still was never lame.
I believe I've stepped on a toe. I've ruffled a feather.
You have stepped on 8 of my toes,
Oh my!
and you have ruffled 7 of my feathers.
And his powdered wig, too.
Oh no!
Well,
Perhaps I could front you for a reserve or something. Buy you a drink,
George, would you like to borrow this white napkin and slap him across the face?
please. Please do.
And demand
Please,
satisfaction.
Please do.
I feel like there could be a duel commencing here a little bit.
I
That's what I'm
haven't been in
thinking.
a duel in quite a while.
Duel.
I would be glad to do a duel, but it makes me think too much about our experience with the planet that we hate, our biggest rival in the entire multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
And this planet, they're called the Slobberies, and they are war reenactors from different wars from all over and they think they're better than us because they reenact different wars from different planets in different universes. They even reenact wars that happen between planets and universes themselves. And we're like, no, we are operating at a higher level with what we are doing by changing our culture.
Well, not to mention, they're just recreating something that already exists.
Right.
You're starting with a seed, and you're growing it into everyday interactions that you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
They're working from a script, and okay, hey, 10 of you fall down over there because you all just got vaporized.
You're engaging in tribute.
Yes, right? So, we often fight with them when they come onto our planet, and we just try to stay away from theirs. So while the idea of a duel is a lovely idea, and I do appreciate that idea, I just don't want to feel like I am another war reenactor.
Ah, very good.
It would be your own duel. The rules are there, just like they are for cosplay, but it would still be your own duel.
Sir,
Ah,
I challenge you with squids
Squids?
oh my.
at 10 paces.
Duel with squids. Yes, I accept. This is the way it works, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to flag down the server to 2 squids, please. Do we?
Make sure they're dueling squids.
Oh!
Well, hang on. Let me just pull out one of my squids.
You brought your own. Oh my. Madness.
Well, no.
I would never travel without one.
It's been so long since I've been in a duel, especially with the squid, that I apparently lost my.
Here, have mine. I'm happy to give you mine. I have a spare squid as well.
Oh my! Is it? This is not a trick squid.
That would be really funny.
What it would be for you? Yes, it would. It's squishy. It's very nice and squishy.
What is your how do your squid duel go?
We throw the squid at ourselves, and whoever gets the most tentacles around our face wins.
Oh.
Because my it was all about just squirting ink. Who covers the other with the most ink?
Trellis, I would like to have you be the officiator of this duel.
All right. Well, what rules are we going by?
Ah, yes.
Do we want to throw it at yourself? Throw it at the other person? Squirt
Trellis,
ink?
you're the officiator. You get
I
to
get
choose.
I get
Yeah.
to choose. I get to choose.
Do we get seconds? Do we get seconds for this duel?
I'd like
well,
thirds.
I could be
Thirds.
I'll be both of your seconds.
Yes. Yes.
All right, I'm going to take off my wig. Ignore the eye on the top of my head.
Oh,
That's going to be
was
difficult to do.
that was unexpected.
Yeah.
It's almost like the beak on the squid.
It's lovely. It's a lovely.
Just now,
eye.
it's dominating the landscape.
Yes.
All right,
I've got to not look at that eye.
squids at 10, and we're going with ink.
Right. Oh, ink.
Wait, okay,
Ink.
great, but are we throwing it at the other person or at each other?
And
No, you're just squirting. You're just going to squeeze it, and the ink's going to shoot.
And keep in mind the whole
Fantastic.
restaurant has squids now, so this should be interesting.
This is going to be a blast.
All right.
Glad I have my third eye in place so I can see everything in 4D.
I'm going to put on my goggles. There we go.
All right, back to back. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that was early. Oh.
Oh, this is lovely. They're going to have to hose us all down when we're down.
Waiter, a hose, please.
Hoses for
I'm gonna-
everyone. Hoses
Hoses
down.
for everyone.
It's a
Put it
hose
on
down.
my card.
I think satisfaction's been attained.
I
think
am
satisfied.
satisfied, and I am
I'm
coming
very
with it.
satisfied.
You both look terrible.
You
You
as
both
well.
look
Thank
terrible.
you.
I wasn't expecting yellow ink though.
All the
You
yellow.
look like my first wife's.
Oh, are we?
That-
Is there a little romance happening here?
Oh, hey.
I'm just having memories looking at you like that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I just want to call you Trafina.
I'm sorry. What was that? You
Trafina?
Trafina, yes.
Mm.
That was my wife's first name.
Ah,
Which
What
that,
I
wife
remember.
Now, you mentioned one wife passing away. Is this the one that passed away in the Singularity?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and she, as I said, she looked like you because you're covered with custard, and that's what she looked like just before the singularity evaporated her into nothingness.
Hmm.
did she always look like she was covered in custard? Or?
Oh no, she had form before she went into the singularity, and then my last image of her, my beloved, was she looked like custard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We don't have very many rules on Cosplaytorium, but one of them is no more black holes.
That is probably a good rule.
Very wise.
Yes, I find that rules that keep civilizations from being destroyed tend to be, generally speaking, good rules.
Well received.
Yes.
Not to be
Yeah.
too profound, but
I didn't think you were.
good. I'd hate to be too profound.
No one thinks that of you, Horatio.
No, good, because I would hate to have that effect on others.
I just want to say that I came here looking for some ideas, and this has been so much better than anything I expected.
Oh, very good. Many
How
people
might
have
you-
said that to us. Is I really did not expect anything.
How might you spin this into a cosplay? How would Horatio and myself be primary cosplay characters in this moon that you're thinking
Well,
of?
that's one possibility.
I'd love to see the
as I-
interpretations of me.
Yes, I would like myself as well, because my ego is large and I enjoy tribute.
Well, I feel like the only way to really sort of do an impression of Trellis involves dance.
Yes.
And so, whereas the best way to serve an impression of Horatio would be to bring back the mimes.
The mimes?
Oh, I would have hoped they'd all been crushed in the singularity, to be honest.
I have often been muted because of how beautifully I speak, and extensively.
Now, would the robots have a problem with playing a large Horatio ego?
As long as you're not saying the word large in connection with the robot, then you're fine.
Okay, I was just curious.
You could just say robot Horatio.
Robot Horatio.
With a somewhat bigger ego.
Oh, if that's possible, that would be lovely.
I think it's more the definition. We've never called a robot supersize. You can use the word large with pretty much anything else as long as it's not in conjunction with a robot. They get large bad feelings about it.
Would it cause them to go on a rampage, or would they just be sad?
No.
A lot of times, beings that get sad end up going on rampages.
Sad rampages can be the saddest rampages of all.
One of the things we've learned on our planet is that rage is just frozen hurt set afire.
Right. Again, I'm covering my napkin with quotes.
Bursting into a torrent of destruction.
Which is another reason why we don't like slobberos over at that other planet, because by reenacting all those wars, they are constantly reenacting all the rage.
I don't want to throw a bad vibe cog into this, but you do realize that you described a dessert here at Millyways, that it's frozen hurt set afire.
I didn't. I never would have thought that frozen hurt set afire was a tasty treat confectionery.
You base your whole culture next one on the menu here at Millyways. You could all be different foods from Millyways, and there would probably be no repeats unless you intended to repeat.
Whoa, what a great idea. I am going to steal one of these menus and put it underneath my peacoat.
You
No awkward moments of running into someone who's dressed as the same food menu
No,
item.
you will
that
not
are.
run into another Andalusian chili cheese blintz. Probably, no.
That sounds amazing.
They are good. They have hallucinogenic powers, so you have to be careful.
And for your costume makers, everything is a bespoke. So there's no, they're going to be able to charge even more.
Yes.
That's true. So then with the bespoke, we're beholden to the beheading of the bespoken.
I should say, I believe it's getting close to the main event of Ending of the Universe, so we should probably get our entry
Yes.
in here.
Do you have one, Horatio, for Cosplaytoria?
I have several. The better of everything is always better. There's a lot happening in a singularity, and none of it good. Rage is frozen hurt set afire.
I feel like the rage is frozen hurt set afire is it's an entry that's gonna grab you. It's gonna get a reaction. And George, do you hope that the entry will bring people to Cosplaytoria to participate in some of your different moons?
It would be great. Everyone except for the Slobberers are welcome to our planet. In fact, as I said before, I'd love to have the two of you here, especially if you're going to escape the end of the world. Please come to our planet. Come play. It is better to become other things than to just always stay who you are.
Oh no, that's our quote right there.
Ooh,
it's better to be other things than to stay what you are.
Who you are, not what.
Who you are.
To thine own self be untrue. What do you think?
That works. It's up to you, though, George, or whatever your name will be.
I say, I am just happy to have made 2 new friends.
Oh, this is
wonderful. And I leave it up to your judgment.
Fire it off, Horatio.
I'm just glad that we could get past our impasse earlier. I feel a lot better about that.
Well, so do I, and I appreciate the huge squid fight that we had. That was fun.
Yes. Oh, yes. So covered with ink.
The duel put any hard feelings to bed.
Yes, a duel is good for that.
Good for the soul.
Because, the only thing worse than a duel is to have to do a duel do-over.
Yes, or reenact a duel.
Yeah.
Would that be a duel over?
I think someone's had enough to drink.
I've lubed my brain cells.
Well, I'm going to put my wig back on top of my third eye.
Yes, good, very good. Don't want your eye to get cold.
Well, Horatio, type in the entry and get it submitted here so we can pay for our dinner.
And send.
Excellent. Very good. Oh, this has been so much fun.
I've enjoyed this quite a
I wish
bit.
I had a costume to go along with yours, George. It would have put us all in the same zone.
I'm sorry, Trellis. I thought you were wearing a costume.
That
I'm just messing.
was wonderful.
Oh, you got me.
You should be your next. It should be comedians. You should just be comedians.
Yeah, we tried that one moon, but it wasn't funny.
Thank you for joining us for Hitchhikers and Appetizers. And of course, special thanks goes to our guest, George Washington. I have been Horatio Zinn.
And I continue to be Trellis Gardeen. Until next time, keep your towels clean. And if you find yourself falling from a great height, just remember that the secret to flying is missing the ground. So don't panic.
Everything you heard in this episode was improvised, but not everything improvised was heard. This episode of Hitchhikers and Appetizers featured the voice talents of Mike Gorgone as Trellis Gardeen, Bran Peacock as Horatio Zinn, and Jonathan Pitts as George Washington. Finally, Hitchhikers and Appetizers is part of the Improv in Action Network. Check out other great improvised podcasts and projects at improvinaction.com. If you'd like to reach out to Trellis or Horatio, you can send electronic messages to them at our Galaxy address, hitchappspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find them on Twitter with the handle hitchapps.
Shut up and sit down.